What's up, everybody? Big Herc, fresh out car hustle, and I'm out here at SEMA covering some cool cars and hanging out with my buddy Joe, and he's a big car guy, and you guys probably know him from the Typhoon episode, but I'm gonna have him go ahead and talk about, SEMA a little bit and what's going on out here, and let him kind of handle it from here.
It's going. 2016 SEMA, here we are. A lot of cool builds here. I'll probably need a few days to evaluate all the custom builds, but from what I've seen so far, a lot of cool builds, a lot of different builds. All the big names are here, so those are usually the cars that get the most attention. But I like builds like this that are a little different. You got a 51 Ford here. Not a lot of guys build 51 Fords, so most people are coming up on this ride thinking it's a Studebaker. And from this angle right here, it definitely does look like a Studebaker, but there's a lot of money in that build. It doesn't at first look like it, but when you really analyze all the work that's in that car, you understand how much money and effort and energy was taken to part of that build. You can come up on it and take a look at it. It actually blends a lot of styles, because it almost has, there's a Mr. Gene Winfield right here. Say hi. Gene. How are you, sir? Please see you.
How you doing, Gene?
Talk about icons. There you go. It's an interesting build in that it blends a lot of different techniques.
So at first look, Joe, what kind of car what does this remind you?
Yeah, it's Studebaker Hawk. That's what it looks like. But when you look up on, you think about it, you got the side pipe, the hidden side pipes, and then you almost like have a can dig it handle right
I didn't
there.
Even notice that.
So typically they install it horizontally, but here, they did it vertically. Kept the original handles. Check out even the old school safety wire on the wheel locks, so a la Cobra-ish there. Even on the back end, it's got the old school, almost like F1.
Oh wow!
Cap. So
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. You see, this actual style is reminiscent of, like old school coach building, where you basically bring the chassis in and they would, create the panels for you, and a lot of times, you would get matching luggage. So it's got a little blend of almost like that early 1900s appeal to it too.
Now, a build like this, what do you think something like this would run?
Well, I'll tell you where the money is, and I'll tell you if you peek right in here, because there's a lot of probably one-off pieces in there. Take a look in that interior. The linkage on the shifter is almost similar to what's that high-end company that has a lot of the aircraft?
Oh,
Spiker. Look at the shifter on that. I think even the new wire, I think the Pagani wire has a little bit of that too.
You're right. It does have that same kind of setup.
Same kind of setup, but they're, it's almost tool leather for the seats. Very aircraftish. If you look at the backings on the buckets, it's basically the riveted steel. And other people have recognized it. Look at the awards it's picked up.
Yeah, this is one of the, has to be one of the more time-intensive builds. No question.
Now, what do you think about the motor on this thing?
But you can see the style is present everywhere. You got, like I said, the straps are in the front.
buses out there.
Gotta love the treatment on the distributor too.
Yeah.
See what the plugs are.
That's wild.
Look at that shit.
Oh my goodness.
This car is incredible.
Yeah.
You can buy that new old stuff.
There's another cool feature. Look at how the fenders are crafted in. Those are probably custom hardware right there.
A lot of them. These are all the.
From what I can see, the gaps are measured. Nice even gap here. See, when I go to SEMA, these are things I look at. I look at the paint jobs and then how's the car finished.
We got quite a few in our.
So would you say this is one of your favorite builds?
I do. I like it because it's different, you know. Nothing wrong with the 70s shit now, but it's cool to see a 51 Ford built up like this.
I got
We got another car here at SEMA. This is one of Joe's favorites, so he's going to really tell you about this car right here, and I'm going to keep it a surprise and let him kind of give you guys a heads up on this car.
You never
trying
know.
to hurt him.
This hits really close to home because this is probably one of my favorite body styles ever. And there's very few cars in history that looked modified coming out of the factory, and that's one of them for sure. There's no car that had a lines like a 65 rib. And the beauty about the Riviera is whether you have a full-out resto line like this, or just even the original one that's slammed a little bit, they all look good. I mean, look at the lines of this car. I mean, this is a big car, no mistake in that. It's a big car, and when you lower it and tuck the wheels like that, look how streamlined that car looks. It looks like it's moving about 120, sitting still. Well, you know, people ask me like, what's my next build I'm gonna do? I think it's gonna be a 65 rib. Definitely 65 rib. This is probably a very similar build because I have an LS7 sitting in the garage that fit perfect in here. They're actually using a 502 block in here too. I don't know, maybe keep it original. We get a Buick block.
Now, would you scope that supercharged?
You know, I think the goal with this build will probably just keep this as a cruiser. You know, let it idle smooth, let it cruise easy on the highway. This car to me is all about the lines. If you get the lines and stance right, honestly, you could stick any engine in there. And cruise all day in it. Let's peek in the interior. I think this is actually a good car to, you know, a lot of people ask, you know, what's the difference between a resto mod and, you know, a pro touring car? Well, this is probably a good example of a resto mod. You know, it's got a lot of the original elements in it, but still with that original flavor. Whereas with a pro touring car, you know, there's more purpose built. You know, beefier suspensions, really big engines, just built for performance. A lot of those cars are actually tracked. You know, you're not going to track a car like this. It obviously looks original, but there's some new elements to it. Here's the other difficult thing about a build like this. You're talking about a long, lean car, and it's in black, which is the hardest color to get right. So your paint job's got to be spot on to get this car right.
This looks like glass.
Yeah.
How would you say the gaps are in this car?
They're pretty good. You know, there's a little taper towards the bottom. The way you analyze a black car is you get behind it. When you get behind a black car, you can pretty much, under the right lighting, check out any type of wave in that paint. You know, the trunk gaps are good. You know, the bumper gaps are good. High-end company right there. He had a finalist at the SEMA builder competition last year. I think Alloway was in the top 5, top 3. So
If like somebody starts talking overhead starts going on,
wrap it up. I'll take it home. Yeah, this is a really cool build.